What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Boleros. Sam here with Gab and Maui. Hello, guys.
Hello.
Yes.
For game
Sando
day
day
again.
today.
Sando day today, for game day today, but we have to talk about that last game against with Adamson versus NU. Adamson upsetting NU, keeping their chances for a Final Four spot alive. Despite everything that's happened to Adamson, a lot of the off-court drama from last weekend, they beat NU. So they showed up in this game. So they give themselves
Ginulo.
a chance.
Ginulo nila ang
Ginulo yung
UAAP.
yung standings, which is something that we like. We always talk about that. Gusto natin 'yun. So, let's talk about that game. Your reactions to that game. Gab, anong ginawa ng Adamson? How did Adamson upset NU in this game? Ano nakita mo?
All right, first, scrappy defense. I thought Adamson totally locked in on the perimeter and locked in on the inside. They're locked in on their inside defense. NU couldn't get any offense to go. And every time NU got close, I think they got it down to 2 twice in the second half. Or got it down to 3 twice in the second half. And every time, Adamson kept on getting key defensive stops. I love the game plan by Coach Nash and Coach Gilbert Lau, or whoever thought of that on the Adamson bench. They packed the paint. They were content to let NU shoot for the most part. They just said, we're packing the paint. We're not letting them defeat us in the paint. I remember seeing a ton of Jake Figueroa drives, and he was met by 3 help defenders. And every time Kian Baklaan went inside to the paint, there was a rim protector there, whether it be Ojarikre or Cedric Manzano or Vince Macbuhos. Excellent defense by Adamson. On the offensive end, actually sobrang natawa ako sa Adamson kasi yung mga gumagawa ng second half, yung mga tao na hindi mo ini-expect na gagawa ng second half, there was a stretch, Eli Ramos contributed 8 straight points. I think he had a basket and he had 3 assists. Then,
mga drop-off passes niya.
Then in the fourth, And then in the fourth, there was a big 3-point shot by Bidat Hanapi, a big pull-up fadeaway from the right elbow from Bidat Hanapi. Then there was a drive and an assist by Jed Colonia to Ojarikre. There was a fake and a layup by Yero. Then there was also a Cedric Manzano put back. The offense was coming from everywhere, and I love it. NU didn't know who to zone on, who to key on, which is one of the reasons why we said that without Jerome, they kind of perform better because a lot of these guys get more opportunities. And earlier, that was a perfect example of that. The offense came from everywhere. You did not know who was going to take over. You did not know who was going to make a play. Everyone just sort of chipped in. Bidat Hanapi, I think, top scored with 13 points. I think he was the only one in double figures. I might have to check that. But yeah, I think he was the only one in double figures.
Montebon tsaka si Manzano, double figures din.
Ayun. Yeah, okay. Sorry about that. So, very balanced scoring. They had no Joem Sabandal, who is known as their closer. Diba?
Wala ulit, no? Last game.
Yes.
I haven't heard kung ano yung reason kung but he's been missing games.
Yeah,
Probably injured.
I didn't hear on the broadcast also what was the report on Joem Sabandal. But yeah, Joem Sabandal is known as their closer. And in this game, they had multiple closers. Amazing team effort by Adamson in this game, both on offense and on defense. Scrappy. Again, they were up in the first round against NU. I remember that game. It was in the UST gym. They were up big at the half. Then Kian Baklaan sort of caught fire, and that was the game. They were able to come back in the fourth, but eventually they had a boneheaded play in the clutch. They weren't able to get off a shot, and they lost that game. But Adamson has done it again against NU. Maui was
parang
saying,
season 85, di ba?
yeah, they did it to NU last year, just spoiling their twice to beat advantage chance. And NU is from being tied for number one. They're now in danger of losing their twice to beat, which is huge. Maui or Sam?
Maui, big question for you. Is it time to break another Starbucks tumbler? If you're Coach Jeff Napa.
yun ang problema. But
Honestly, kanina sa game, because it was such an empty arena, there was a boneheaded play by Humamoy, and you could hear Jeff Napa from the telecast just screaming at Reinhard Humamoy. As in, anong ginagawa mo? Anong ginagawa mo?
to be fair, Gab, both coaches were very livid on some of their players. Si Coach Nash din kanina.
Yeah, but yung there was one instance, as in, from the timeout now, yung naka-zoom out yung camera. When the camera was zoomed out, you can still hear Jeff Napa shouting at the sidelines. Because nga, it was an empty arena and, medyo
Malaki.
marinig talaga yung boses mo. But yeah, I think if he had the Starbucks tumbler, he would have broken it.
Wasak na. Multiple
Wasak
Starbucks
na.
tumblers.
Inabot na ng
What stood out
gabi.
for you what stood out for you in this game?
Yeah, I think si Gab mentioned basically Adamson being a machine. I think this is one of their best games of the season. Wala nang reklamo on the free throw disparity despite NU having 28 free throws and them only having 17. But I think on a more important note, it was really a collective effort. Si Hanapi played well. Si Montebon has been playing well the past few games. As usual, si Cedric Manzano will step up. But I think one of the welcome surprises here has to be si Eli Ramos. Gab touched up upon him. He had 7 quick points and I think 3 assists. He did this similarly to Ateneo no first round. If you remember Eli Ramos revenge game during Ateneo. He had a huge run by himself.
Medyo nagmumukhang Dwight Ramos na si Eli.
Nagmumukhang Dwight Ramos si Eli.
Anyway,
But yeah, I'm happy that Eli is getting his chances. This is the reason why he moved to Adamson to be able to get his chances. But on the NU side, I have to touch up on the NU side. I think they really miss Steve Nash. This is quite reminiscent of what happened nung season 85. It was all about Kian Baclaan just getting his shots and trying to create. Si Jake Figueroa tried his best. He scored, I think, 13 points, hit a few crucial baskets in the fourth quarter. But basically, it was really Kian Baclaan the whole game. He had 24 points on 17 attempts, 8 of 9 on the free throw line. So it was still a very good game. But I think the NU is really missing Steve Nash. Yung difference na talaga is when Kian Baclaan has to sit down, it's a big...
On a positive note, Maui, Kenton Patrones returned. They said he was out for the season.
Yeah, si
Actually, bumalik siya last game. Bumalik siya last game.
Ba siya?
1 minute last game. Oh.
Yeah. Maybe he tried out last game, but he was sporting kanina a mass. Finally came back. So NU is getting back their players. Si Steve Nash was also in the bench. I think he was shown sa TV a few times. So hopefully Steve Nash will be able to come back. But this is a big blow to NU. This is quite upsetting to their fans and probably to their coach, just because this is quite a repeat of last year. Adamson was also the team that they lost in the second round that really brought them down from getting twice to beat advantage. And I think also UP yung last game nila, if I'm not mistaken, correct me. But this is a big blow to NU. They could have, if they won a while ago, they would have been tied with UP for number 1. The game on Sunday is definitely a must-win and must-watch game. It will be a crazy, it's gonna be a crazy weekend coming. But definitely, NU was still in the game, but it's a bit concerning to me. NU not having Steve Nash has been a big blow, definitely. it was a Kian Baclaan show, and unfortunately, unlike their first round encounter, Kian Baclaan was not able to carry NU during this game. There were just so many Adamson players stepping up. If you watch the game, they hit timely shots. They were able to withstand all of the runs ng NU because they had a lot of runs. Gab mentioned that there were certain moments that NU was only down on 2 points. I think they might have also taken the lead nung fourth quarter, but hats
They
off
were.
to Adamson.
They did.
Hats off to Adamson. I mean, this is the biggest game of their season, and they went out ahead. If they lost this game, they would have been out. Sam.
And you had turned the ball over a lot as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's a credit to the Adamson defense partly. But there were times when they were sloppy, and that's the reason why Coach Jeff Napa was so angry in the sidelines. They were sloppy. They were really sloppy. But yeah, kudos to Adamson, man, making things interesting.
making things interesting. Say what you want about Coach Nash and yung mga off-court comments and drama niya the past few days. You know, he's been in the news. Alam niyo na the issues that happened after the game last weekend against Ateneo. He had a non-apology. We don't have to get into that, but he runs a really type ship. And when it comes to performance on the court, ibang klase itong Adamson. Again, I ranked them very, very low at the start of the season. I did not expect them to be battling for the Final Four without Jerome Lastimosa. I think a lot of people did not expect that. So, kudos.
Except
You have
me.
to be fair, Gab, you had Adamson high. But we have to give them credit for that. So, Maui, binanggit mo na yung pag-uusapan natin next. Dahil sa game na to, I think this was a crucial game, the most crucial game today. The games on this weekend, the last game for each team is going to get a bit interesting. Let me just recap what si Pong Ducanes posted on Twitter. So, win-loss record of the last 5 teams battling for the Final Four. UP is now solo 1 at 11-2. Their last game is against NU. NU and LaSalle are tied 10-3. Ateneo is still number 4 right now. Their last game is against LaSalle. And then Adamson is at number 5. Their last game is against UE. So, ano yung implications nun? There could be a scenario wherein if NU beats UP and LaSalle beats for the top 3, first, let's go to the top 3. If NU beats UP and LaSalle beats Ateneo, that's a 3-way tie for the top 3. If Ateneo loses to LaSalle and Adamson wins against UE, that's a tie for number 4. So what will happen there is number 4 battle for 4th place. Number 4 and 5 battle for 4th place tayo. So do or die Ateneo versus Adamson. And wouldn't that be a very interesting game, di ba? Kasi Adamson won the first game, Ateneo won the second game. Magkaalaman na sino ba talagang mananalo sa best of 3 Ateneo.
Sino ba talaga may mas malaking bird?
Oo, tama. Ito na talaga palakihan ng bird. Kasi tie. And then, at number 3, if that happens, mag-tie silang tatlo by virtue of their quotient. LaSalle actually becomes number 1, and then
That's
UP
crazy.
and NU. That's crazy, diba?
LaSalle ending at number 1. Imagine that.
Imagine that. And we were just like a few weeks ago talking about LaSalle being such an inconsistent team after that loss to UP. They could be number 1. And NU and UP virtually will have best of 3. Best of 3. So they fight for the twice to beat, and then whoever gets the twice to beat may advantage. So virtually best of 3. Question ko sa inyo, predictions. What are your expectations? Kahit hindi predictions, but what are your expectations?
Oh shit.
for the standings. Ano gusto mo makita? Sige, kahit hindi prediction, ano gusto niyo makita? Ano ine-expect niyong mangyayari? Let's start with you, Gab.
What do I said this in our last episode. In my heart, I think Ateneo is gonna win because you won big fight and all that. But in my mind,
Ateneo over
is-
Lasal to, di ba? Ateneo over Lasal.
Yeah,
Sabi mo.
yeah. So, but in my mind, Lasal is just too hot of a team right now. They're just too dominant. KQ is playing out of his mind, so I'm gonna go with Lasal taking one over Ateneo for this season. Ateneo won in the first round. I think Lasal will win this in the second round. And put me down for Adamson beating UE. Although UE has had a penchant for being a spoiler.
Destroying
Yeah,
the team.
they destroyed Lasal
Despite-
last season.
Despite not playing for anything.
Yep. Although I
That's
do think
true.
Adamson has
That's
enough.
true.
Yeah, I do think Adamson has enough and they will win. And I want to see a battle of the birds again. Palakihan tayo ng bird ulit, Adamson. Let's go! Let's go! So that's my prediction for number 4. And finally, syempre, I'm gonna take Ateneo to win over Adamson in the palakihan ng birds. So put me down for Ateneo at number 4. Of course, yung more games means more content for us. So that's what I wanted. For the battle for number 1, since I have LaSalle winning, I do think that UP is going to win against NU. I still think UP is a very dominant team. They're very good. They're very talented. So I have them going at number 1, and I think that will have NU sliding to number 3 and LaSalle at number 2. As much as gusto ko ng best of 3, I'm not optimistic about NU's chances to beat UP. Maui.
Ako, alam niyo na sasabihin ko, my mind is telling me, like Gab, my mind is telling me, my heart is telling me that Ateneo will win against LaSalle, but my mind is telling me that LaSalle will win against Ateneo. I think LaSalle is just playing on another level right now. I think it just shows they're 6-0 in the second round with dominant wins against most of the teams. It's not just KQ. KQ is playing out of his mind. He's playing on an MVP level. We can lock the MVP up. But it's also Raven Cortez and Mark Nonoy. LaSalle has always been about KQ and Evanelli the whole season, and now we're seeing people contribute. Mike Phillips to a T was also a consistent contributor, but the emergence of Raven Cortez and the rebirth, I'm calling it a rebirth of Mark Nonoy, because we know that he has the capability to be a very dangerous scorer in the UAAP. It's great for LaSalle. It showed when they got their 6-0 record. I'm hoping for an upset by Ateneo para diretso Final Four na. But the reality is probably Ateneo will lose to LaSalle. But maybe Ateneo and LaSalle face each other when LaSalle ends up at number 1 and Ateneo at number 4. I still think that if Ateneo and Adamson ends up facing each other, I think Ateneo will probably prevail. When it comes to UP and NU, we'll see what happens, but I think it's gonna be UP also, like Gab. NU's just struggling right now. I don't know if they're gonna play Steve Nash this because of the implications of the game this coming weekend. But if we're gonna see Steve Nash, he's still probably not 100%. So definitely I'm going UP. UP has had a wild second round. They've had so many blowouts. From Chico Briones getting player of the game to Torculas also getting player of the game. This is reminiscent of the Ateneo team before that swept the elimination round. I still think that UP is a team to beat, even if they end up at number 2. But yeah, definitely just hoping for a crazy weekend. This is the last weekend of the UAAP and we expected craziness, and it's gonna happen. Whatever the results are of all these games, it's gonna happen. it's like scripted. It's like a storybook story. These have to be the matchups during the last day of the season. We'll see. Definitely, I will be there for the Ateneo game. I want to watch them.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
ang gusto ko mangyari is more games. Gusto ko mag-tie yung fourth place, mag-tie Ateneo, Adamson sa fourth and fifth. Mag-tie yung tatlong top 3 teams. So,
So essentially, Sam, yung what's different from me and Maui is you have NU winning over UP. That's the
yun ang
only
gusto ko.
way.
So I'm from Ateneo and UP, but actually this weekend, parang maganda matalo Ateneo at UP para mas masaya, mas exciting yung UAAP. But I agree. It has to be, I think the one game na medyo it's crucial pero parang sure win na I think it's going to be UP. Why, Maui, you mentioned UP has been hot the past few games. Second, if you watch the game earlier, we didn't get to talk much about it kasi medyo blowout siya. But they didn't play a lot of their starters heavy minutes. I think Malik Diouf only played like 10 minutes. So,
They didn't have to. It's UST.
The luxury.
exactly. Kasi
The luxury.
it's a blowout, 'di ba? They got to rest, naka-warm up pa yung mga bench players nila. Compare that to the NU game. NU had to grind out that game. I think Jake Figueroa played 36 minutes. Si Baclan also played like 30 minutes. Pagod yan, and they're already injured. They're already short-handed. And, Adamson is also physical defensively. Ilang beses na tumba si Omar John, di ba? So, I think it's going to be an easy win for UP, to be honest. So, I think UP is gonna win that game. I'm sorry, Ateneo, but Lasal is going to win that game. Sorry, wag na kayong umasa. But I am hoping.
Pwede mangyari yan.
Umaasa kami, grabe ka.
Umaasa kami, pwede mangyari yan.
Ilang yan.
I just have to say, if Ateneo beats Lasal this weekend, a lot of people from other schools rooting for Ateneo also. I think if you go on X, on Twitter, some of the UST fans for some reason are rooting for Ateneo this season. Maybe because they hate UP, I don't know. But they're hoping for a Cinderella run for Ateneo this season. Imagine kasi daw the implications if Ateneo goes on a Cinderella run this season. So if Ateneo beats Lasal this Saturday, mark my words, Ateneo will make a mark during the Final Four.
Narinig ko na yan, Maui. Are they gonna turn the corner? Are they gonna turn the corner?
Yeah, what tayo
Turn the corner na. Turn the corner na naman. Final Four na. But let us know down below, anong mga predictions nyo, anong gusto nyo makita sa mga games this coming weekend. Kasi those are going to be exciting games. Except, FEU UST is going to be exciting only because FEU needs to get their revenge game against UST. Okay. We want to talk about the other teams, but we're bringing back a segment. We're gonna do this or that to talk about the other teams, and I think Gab has prepared questions for us today. So let's play this or that. By the way, hindi namin alam yung questions ni Gab, so kami din masu-surprise. Gab, what do you have for us?
Okay, for this edition of This or That. Earlier in the games today, we had two lefty guards have big games. Jared Brown of Ateneo and Mark Nonoy of LaSalle. Jared Brown, I think, was 6 of 11 from 3, had 21 points. Mark Nonoy was 5 of 10 from 3 and had 15 points. And they both been very big for their team. So my question is, this or that, who is going to be the more important player for this Sunday? Mark Nonoy or Jared Brown? Sammy!
Wow, good question. I have to go with Jared Brown. for me, most important player for their team this weekend. Why? Because walang ibang guard yung walang ibang guard yung Ateneo. It's just Jared Brown or Espinosa. So, if Jared Brown does not perform well, I don't think Ateneo's, or at least is decent, mahirapan Ateneo to beat Lasal. Mark Nonoy has been spectacular. He is an X factor also, just like all the five other X factors of Lasal. But as the fans said before in our previous episodes, Lasal is just so deep na it's just next man up. If Mark Nonoy is not performing, ilabas na si Policarpio, or maybe Joaquin Manuel will get hot from three, or si David will perform, diba? So there's so many players that can step up for Lasal that we've seen step up for Lasal. Whereas Ateneo, everybody has to bring their A game just for them to, you know, um, be competitive, but most especially the point guard position. Ateneo struggled at the point guard position the entire season, and that's why for me it has to be very important for Jared Brown to perform this coming weekend.
Maui, Mark
Yeah.
Nonoy or Jared Brown?
Yeah, I think definitely I have to agree with Sam. It has to be Jared Brown. Ateneo clearly lacks yung scoring. Ateneo also goes on those droughts, and I think Jared Brown performing well can really take the load off kay Chris Kuhn. And that would be
Good
crucial.
point.
I think si Chris Kuhn has really been relied upon too much this season. Marami ng haters si Chris Kuhn because he has been underperforming the past few games, and I think it's really because of fatigue also. Chris Kuhn has been relied upon too much by Ateneo. I think he is one of the top leaders when it comes to minutes per game. And Jared Brown having that good game would definitely pay dividends. I think this showed kanina lang nung game kanina Chris Kuhn was able to focus on other matters. I think he had 9 rebounds, a couple of assists, minimal turnovers compared to previous games. Definitely, any guard, any player from Ateneo scoring more than 10 points, that's not named Balungay or Kuhn, would be a big help. Amos also contributing will be a big thing for this weekend. But yeah, when it comes to this question, definitely Jared Brown. But if Mark Nonoy has a big game, then maybe Lasal can even blow out Ateneo. I wouldn't be surprised.
Doon ako mag-agree sa'yo, Maui. Actually, my answer for this question was also Jared Brown. Simply because, by need, they need him to perform well. And the one I agree with you is if Mark Nonoy is hitting his threes, the court sort of opens up for KQ and Evan Nele. And that was evident in their past two games. When a guy like Mark Nonoy is hitting threes, and a while ago there were a lot of open threes, the lane opens up. Evan Nele can run pick and roll. Kevin Cambao can run pick and roll. He can dump off those roll passes to Raven Cortez, who, by the way, amazing floaters from the paint and from the free throw line. That shot is unstoppable. Like, he's 6'9" and hitting those floaters. So I think that's important for Lasal. If Mark Nonoy is hot and is hitting his threes, they have a chance to run their fast offense, get easy baskets, and that's what they want. No, that's been their offense the entire season. Run quick plays, get easy baskets, and then pressure the ball. So that's my argument for Mark Nonoy, but it's still gonna be Jared Brown for me. In the game earlier against UE, I liked how Jared Brown played because every time he got it from a kick out, he shot it. And I've been saying this for how many games already for Ateneo. Shoot the damn ball, guys. When it's kicked out to you, shoot it. Kasi, like Chris Kuhn, every time kick out sa kanya, it's either he calls for a pick and roll or he passes. And there's 5 seconds left on the shot clock when either Espinosa or Ketevis get it from Chris Kuhn. And essentially, we get a bad shot. Like if I'm Chris Kuhn, all right, I get it from a kick out. Like I don't care, just shoot it, man. There's 5 or 4 seconds left on the clock. Stop doubting yourself. Just shoot it. And for Jared Brown, that was his role earlier. Again, out of all the Ateneo players this season, him and Mason Amos actually have been the ones with the biggest balls.
Saviors.
Just like, diba? They don't really care. They just shoot it and try to score. So yeah, for Saturday, Ateneo Lasal, I think the more important is gonna be Jared Brown. He did have 3 points in their last game against Adamson. So medyo Jekyll and Hyde din tong si Jared Brown. May pagka-inconsistent din to eh. Pero yeah, yung Jared Brown is the most important. Is the more important player for me. Okay, for my next question. With Precious Momoway being suspended, he's now not anymore a lock for Rookie of the Year. He's now out of the race for Rookie of the Year. The next in line in terms of statistical points, since purely statistical points ang determination nito, is gonna be Francis Lopez. So my question is, kung not just stats ang criteria natin, who is your Rookie of the Year? Is it Francis Lopez? Or are you gonna take the field? Or someone else from the rest of the teams who's gonna be Rookie of the Year? Let's start with you, Maui. Who is your Rookie of the Year?
So wala na si Momoway in the equation just because he's
Wala na si Momoway. The next is Francis Lopez. So are you taking Francis Lopez or are you going with someone else from the field?
Yeah, I think based on our metrics, not the UAAP's metrics, I think it has to be Francis Lopez. I think yung impact niya on UP has been enough. We were skeptical. I can personally say that I was skeptical nung off-season because of the barrage of players that UP has on his position, but he has solidified himself as their best power forward, small forward this season. And him being on one of the top teams definitely definitely helps with me really considering him as the most valuable rookie, the Rookie of the Year for this year. Yeah, I think it's an easy Francis Lopez for me. Sam.
No questions asked, Francis Lopez. I can't believe you're even asking this question, Gab. How dare you?
Wala nang iba.
How dare you?
Wala nang iba, in my opinion.
Yun na yun.
Si Momoway lang
That's
talaga,
Okay.
si Francis Lopez.
Okay, so would
Pero-
you have
pero,
any
Gab,
in
curious ako.
consideration? Would you have any person in consideration for a Rookie of the Year? Like a runner-up, let's say. If it's not gonna be yung Francis Lopez, who's gonna be a rookie that has stood out? Okay, so I'll answer.
Sino ba?
I
Sino ba
have
ba
a couple of
options?
guys. I have a couple of guys in mind. One, of course, homer pick, Maui's favorite, yung Mason Amos.
Mason
He's
Amos.
had big games. Yeah, has not been consistent. There are times, he goes scoreless. He goes for 2 points. There are times he's gone for 20. So, yeah, I don't think he's gonna win it. But as a rookie who's in the rotation, who's played in big games, who's made clutch shots, I think he's close to that. Another person that I think about is Monty Montibon. And this is a shout out to Adamson a while ago. He's played a key part of their rotation, especially off the bench, having that scoring punch. You saw the way he played against Ateneo on Sunday. This guy has balls. He's
Paranada
not afraid.
2.0. Parang mga Paranada 2.0 to it.
Or something like a Lester Alvarez, something closer to home for Adamson.
Adamson.
That's who he reminds me of. Like a Lester Alvarez. But yeah, those two guys I think have stood out, and siguro a third would be Jonel Policarpi of Lasal. I don't know if he's eligible. I think he sat out a year. But yeah, so those three I think si Jonel Policarpi is second in statistical points next to Francis Lopez. But he's had an up and down season. He was benched for most of the first round. But yeah, those three guys I think are in consideration. But yeah, I agree with you guys. It's Francis Lopez since Momoway is out of the equation. I think this is Francis Lopez's
Yeah,
award at the end of the season.
I think Gab yung ano talaga constant impact ni Francis Lopez is what really stands out against all of the competitors. I might love si Mason Amos, but there are games that Mason is just not playable, to be honest. That's something that he probably has to work on in the off season. But it has to be Francis Lopez. I don't know. Maybe he won't be around next year. But I think he might be around. I think another year in the UAP will do him good. But yeah, I think without Momo Way, he is the runaway rookie of the year.
I like the
Sammy.
Montebon. I like the Montebon
Yeah,
pick.
maganda yung Montebon.
This guy is rookie but doesn't play like a rookie. And super, for some reason, becomes super clutch against Ateneo. Umiinit talaga. Since preseason pa. Actually, nakakabwisit tong guy na to eh.
Buzzer
Hindi
beater
siya
3
maging
eh.
rookie of the year.
Kaya may kumpiyansa
Grabe.
ng
Buzz.
off-season.
Clutch talaga. Even the first game, 'di ba? I think he was the one who tied the game against
Yeah,
Ateneo
he was the one who
in
tied the
first
Get it to
game
game.
from a
OT.
three from a
It was like a
corner.
corner three.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like the Montebon pick up.
All right. So for my next question, another award-based question, and it's an award we haven't really talked about. Coach of the Year. Right now, LaSalle is the hottest team. They've won, I think, 7 straight, dating back to the first round. Coach Stopex is now loved by the LaSalle community after being hated on for most
Ganun
of the first
talaga.
round.
When you're for Ateneo or Lasal, ganun talaga.
It's part of the
So
job,
uh,
basically.
I think he has turned around LaSalle from season 85. So, similar to the first question, who are you taking for coach of the year? Is it Topex Robinson or someone else from the field? Do you think someone else deserves consideration? Sammy, let's start with you.
Uy, gusto ko tong question na to. If we're just talking about performance on the court, I would have strongly argued for Coach Nash Racela. But
Oh, wow. Okay.
but because I really underestimated Adamson. I did not expect them to be fighting for the Final Four, and they have a good chance. We're just basing it off of rankings. They have a good chance of battling for the Final Four position. Kasi if you look Ateneo LaSalle, we assume LaSalle will win. UE Adamson, we assume Adamson will win. So they have a good chance of making it to the Final Four without Jerome Lastimosa. But I have to deduct points. Number one, playing Jerome Lastimosa against UP and dodging questions or not even taking accountability nung sa press conference. He didn't even allow the media to ask. Sabi niya, alam ko tatanungin nyo, parang no comment ako or something like that. He was very defensive. And when that happened, we talked about it. I mentioned the same thing. Sabi ko, he should have taken accountability. Whether or not it was his fault, he should have taken accountability for that. And then this one, say what you have to, like if he's complaining about the foul, sige fine, I won't deduct a point for that. But the non-apology, I mean, just be professional naman for me. Parang he was given a chance. He was given a chance to like apologize and not get suspended or something, di ba? Tapos may ganun pa siyang non-apology. I was a bit turned off by that. Again, I'm not deducting points for him complaining about the foul calls. I'll give him that. Okay lang yun. So, I have to take the entire thing into consideration and I have to go with Coach Topex kasi it's very difficult to coach a LaSalle team. And LaSalle has had so many coaching changes the last few seasons. Ang dami na nilang pinagdaanan. Juno Soler, si Aldin Ayo, si Coach Bird, si Pumarin bumalik pa. So, it's very difficult to make a LaSalle Lasal community happy. Kasi ang expectation every year is a championship. And so far, Coach Topex has been performing despite the early season poor performances or inconsistencies. They are the hottest team now and they have a chance to be number 1. So Coach of the Year for season 86 has to be Coach Topex for me.
Maui.
Yeah, I think I share mostly the same sentiments with Sam. I have to start with Coach Nash. Now, if you've been following me on X, I've been very vocal with regards to how Coach Nash has handled both situations. First, the Jerome Lastimosa situation was not a welcome sight. Them deciding to let Jerome play, I did not agree with that at all. And it's reflective also on how this team is performing. I mean, they have a chance to get to the Final Four, but I can't discount Coach Nash because they lost 3 of their top players and also now sa Bandal. They lost Lastimosa, Duanga, and
Good
Manlapa.
point
So,
sa Bandal. Yeah.
diba? That's crazy, and they are on the verge of having the same record as they had the previous season. So he has to be in consideration. Now, with regards to his comments regarding the referees, I thought that he could have handled that a lot better. If you look at social media, there are a lot of people who have been disgusted and have not been satisfied with how Coach Nas has handled this. I don't think they're all from Ateneo. But I thought that Coach Nash could have handled this better. He could have just apologized and not sent out a non-apology. He had to post his own apology. I mean, the UAAP did not even post his apology letter, but he had to post it. I don't know why he's trying to trigger people. Probably the main thing for me is these UAAP coaches have to know better. They have to understand that there is a fan base that is not that versed when it comes to UAAP rules and the basic fundamentals of basketball. A coach going ham on the press conference is not a good sight. I have to agree with Coach Tab. He has tainted yung integrity ng UAAP, which is not a good thing for me. And also I wasn't actually following him when he was in the PBA. He has had similar cases where he has questioned yung integrity nung referees ng league. I don't think this is wrong. I think Coach Nash calling out the referees is okay. I was happy that the UAP submitted a report regarding yung fouls. But the thing is, you can handle this behind the scenes, not when you're in a press conference after losing a game. You can easily just contact the league, contact the commissioner, send out a letter, similar to how NU has handled some of their issues with the referees. But on the other hand, I still believe that he has to be in the running for Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
But all 3 of us have to agree that Coach Topex has done a good job. I mean, all 3 of us believed from the start. We are from the blue side, but all 3 of us believed during the off-season that LaSalle had to trust the process when it comes to Coach Topex. And it's finally paying off. They're 6-0 in the second round. Yung demeanor ng team, we've been calling this the whole season, has really changed. And I think some of my friends na LaSalle, yung demeanor nila has changed. I think they're starting to trust this team. They're starting to trust the process. I hope they pull through. I think they're a dark horse contender for the championship. If they don't pull through, they should give Kopex a bigger leash. They have really outperformed this year. And you can see yung demeanor ng players. And definitely it has to be Coach Topex because of all the pressure, how they have managed to turn their season around. I thought that yung first round was warranted. They're playing with a new coach, they're playing with a new system. They adjusted, and they've been the most dominant team in the second round. I wouldn't be surprised if LaSalle ends up as the champion this season. Who would have thought, di ba? Who would have thought after the first round that they'd have a shot to get number 1?
Oh, definitely not LaSallians.
Not the LaSalle.
They wouldn't have
You know
thought.
what? You know what? Alam mo, Maui, ganito pa lang kaaga. I'm locking it in. Lasal's gonna win the championship.
Yang ka na naman.
Wow! Yan ka na naman eh.
Yan ka na naman.
Yan ka na naman eh.
Gulat ka.
Parang season 85 lang.
Parang season 85. Ito na yun. Napaaga ako.
Huwag mo sila i-curse. Sam naman.
Sorry.
Lakers, man. Okay, so for my pick for this question, actually, if you had asked me this question before today, I actually would have gone with Coach Jeff Napa because they're battling for a number 1 seed. And talk about a team that taking a leap. No, Lasal outperformed expectations. They took a leap. They're now a contender. This was our question for NU coming into the season. Can they be a contender?
That's true.
And for the most part of the season, they have looked like a contender. They were 10-2 before today, tied with UP for number 1. I thought that they have a legit chance for a title, but after their loss to Adamson, and now against UP on Sunday, and if they lose, can fall to number 3. I'm doubting my coach. So this is a to be determined pick. If they beat UP on Sunday, I'm giving my coach of the year to Coach Jeff. Coach Jeff, but now,
Yeah, but ako I would give it to Jeff Napa if they beat UP on Sunday.
Kasi, honestly,
Di ba? Kasi tama ka gabi. What more can we expect? Di ba? Our main question with UP and with NU nung preseason is if they can end up with a twice to beat advantage. Diba? If they win against UP on Sunday, then they get that. They get a best of 3 with probably UP also.
Yep. And so, medyo madaya, but kasi itong kahapon, pinag-isip ko itong question na to. Ang pick ko si Jeff Napa, pero after what happened today, parang okay. So, hindi na maganda yung Jeff Napa pick ko. Nasira. So, I have to go with Coach Topex. I mean, I have to agree with everything you guys said. But yeah, as of right now, it's Coach Topex. But kung manalong NU on Sunday, my Coach of the Year is Jeff Napa.
Oh, by the way, we didn't talk about the coach of the number 1 team as of right now, Coach Gold. So definitely Coach Gold deserves to be considered for Coach of the Year. But I think just like in the NBA, sometimes yung Coach of the Year ang napipili is the coach that sort of made the most out of his team or brought his team
who outperforms expectations.
The bottom of the standings.
Nothing against Coach Gold.
Exactly. Diba? Nothing against Coach Gold. But
nothing against Coach Gold.
To be number 1. Yeah.
Yeah, we had them as favorites. We took them as a team that was gonna dominate, and they've dominated. They did what's expected of them. So nothing against Coach Gold. He's a great coach. Yeah. But you usually give a Coach of the Year, tama ka, Sam, to a team, to a coach who has outperformed the expectations of his team. And Coach Nasco, yung Coach Topex, and Coach Jeff Napa have, well, not really kay Coach Jeff Napa yet, but Coach Nash and Coach Topex.
It might be the same story with last season, di ba?
So crucial yung last game. That's
for my last question, guys. So let's go with something fun. So today we saw a matchup of 2 graduating point guards, LJ Gonzalez versus Evan Nele, and it was a doozy. FEU almost pulled it out. They were within 1 in the 4th until LaSalle made their furious run and wala na. FEU could not come back from that. But my question is, if you were a pro team, whether be it KBL, B-League, or wherever,
PBA!
Sige, PBA! Sige, PBA, Wowie, kung PBA. But if you had to pick one guard among these 2 graduating players, who would you get? Evan Nele or LJ Gonzalez? Let's go with you, Maui.
Yeah, I might be biased, but I've loved this player since he was in the NCAA, since he was playing for San Beda. I think you have to go with Evan Nele. I think he's the more complete player. He has immaculate shooting. I mean, yung free throw niya is top tier in the UAAP. Where can you see a player having a 90+% free throw shooting season? I think he's more of in the 80s this season. But I think Evanel is the more complete player when it comes to his offensive bag. I think he has a 3-point shot. He's a proven player. He has been able to lead two different teams. Lasal is this season. But yeah, I think si LJ Gonzalez probably has a better ceiling because of his athleticism and speed. But I think Evanelli is the more complete player just because he's steady, just because he has that championship from San Beda, and Sam called it maybe from with Lasal. He has more experience in my opinion. But yeah, it probably be a coin toss. But I would be happy if both of them got to play in the KBL with SJ Belangel next season. I think both of them are qualified and more than capable to be able to play abroad. I hope they get that opportunity. Any opportunity from any team, we will welcome that. We want all of our basketball players to succeed. But if I were the GM of a team, definitely I would pick Evanelli right now.
Sammy.
Yeah, I agree with Maui. I think kung titingnan mo lang skills wise then I think Evan Nele is more complete, and I think si Nele also has a higher ceiling. Plus he's more fun to watch, or he's like really exciting to watch. Flashy, and sometimes that ends up not being good for the team. Pero masaya din, 'di ba? Pero I have to give my flowers to LJ Gonzalez. This guy, I remember when he was a rookie, he was good immediately. He like just came out of nowhere during his rookie year. Hindi ko siya napanood nung high school siya, unfortunately. So when he was a rookie in college, nagulat na lang ako. Galing nito ah. He was so fast, really quick. People couldn't guard him. He has a good shot din naman, decent shot. So I love LJ, and unfortunately, LJ was injured early this season. But for me, LJ is a bit more steady, more composed, I guess. Parang, parang ano, paano ba? Kapag sa relationship, parang sinong boyfriend yung gusto mong i-date nung anak mo, yung parang flashy, pogi guy, or yung steady guy, steady, nice guy lang, di ba? So, dun ako sa being a dad of a girl. Doon ako sa steady nice guy. So, I love Evanele, but I want to
Baka ayaw mo
swerve
na
and
nila
I
sa
want to
lista para sa anak mo.
ayoko na lang sa lista para sa anak ko.
Hoy,
Hindi
pero
naman.
naging Lasal ka rin, di ba, Sam?
Yes,
fact.
Lasal. Naglasal ako
Sam
kinder.
also went to
Kinder,
Lasal.
guys. So, huwag kayong mag-hate sa akin kasi naglasal din ako.
That doesn't count,
I
bro.
give props to LJ Gonzalez. Hindi ba counted yun? Kinder 2. Okay
That
na.
doesn't count.
Pwede na yun. Ba't kayo? Naglasal ba kayo? Naglasal? Wala. Lamang ako sa inyo.
Hindi
So
ako
I want to
pwede.
give props to LJ. LJ is steady. Despite the disappointing last 2 seasons, he has been one of the bright spots of the team, I think. And I wouldn't mind having him on my team as a pro team, I think.
I want to swerve and go LJ, and a part of me does want to go LJ, but the playmaking of Evanele just on a whole other
Yes,
level compared
yun
to
talaga.
Yep.
Playmaking.
LJ
Mas
Gonzalez.
pure
And I
point
think if you're a
guard.
GM,
Yeah.
like in a pro team, like in the B League, where you have American imports, European imports, guys who need the ball, who need shots, I think you need the guy like yung Evanele to distribute, to hit 3-point shot. He's all I think he's a better shooter also than LJ Gonzalez. So yeah, agree with the two of you said. Daya, yung agree tayo sa lahat ng questions. Si Jeff Napa kasi. Kasalanan. Yung dapat Jeff Napa pick ko eh. But yeah, thank you guys for indulging me in this version of This or That. That's it. Sammy, why don't you sign us off?
That's it for today's episode. We will definitely cover the games this weekend, and we will discuss ano ba yung mangyayari, yung results dun sa games na yun, kasi we still don't know yung standings ng UAAP up until now, and that's what we've
Dulo-dulo.
been praying for ever since, di ba? Sabi natin, we want an exciting UAAP. We have an exciting UAAP. So definitely, we are going to cover those games this weekend. But for now, comment down below. What are your thoughts, reactions to the things that we discussed today? Ano sagot nyo sa this or that? Don't forget, subscribe, share it with your friends. See you next week. This weekend. Bye-bye.